Welcome to the Austen Summers podcast, the mind-expanding podcast to get you the girls that you want. And today I am joined by Alex from Playing with Fire.
Thank you for having me on.
And he is an online game coach, but he often does get laid in real life.
It's been known to happen from time to time. You know, it's funny sometimes when people see me at a bar and they're like, "What are you doing here, man?" I'm like, "What do you mean? Like, shouldn't you be texting someone? Like, shouldn't you be on Tinder?" It's like a trip for them.
And he's about the no hookups lifestyle, and he's saving himself for divorce, which is nice. To start off with, why don't you give your 30-second blah, blah,
Sure.
blah.
My name is Alex. I run a company called Playing with Fire. We mainly, as Austen said, specialize in the online game, but then it goes much further than that because, you know, in order to get laid online, you need good pictures. In order to get good pictures, you need to be in good shape. You need fashion. So we wound up touching on everything that surrounded that. Generally are dedicated to no bullshit community for men to get better and get better with girls.
I thought this would be an interesting question to ask you is what would you be doing if you couldn't do anything related to game?
Yeah, I mean, before doing this, I used to sell solar panels, so maybe I would still be doing that. I would be going door to door and like fucking hitting up grandmas for solar panels. I don't know.
Nice. That was actually one of our last students. he sold solar.
Yeah, it's an interesting gig.
But what would you do if you were thinking
like what I want to do? Yeah, I mean, I've always been very entrepreneurial, so I'll probably have some kind of a business. What kind of business specifically? I don't know. Probably whatever like need I saw in the marketplace. I'll try to capitalize on.
And we are wearing the Miami fashion sweatpants, t-shirt, and flip flops.
I know, but you don't have the skin fade that's like necessary as part of the Miami. You gotta get the skin fade.
So I'll end up making like a more succinct video of this, but I wanted to hear your thoughts on this in terms of the pros and cons of each four type of game. So the first type obviously is online game, day game, night game, and then social circle. So we'll start with online. Like, what do you see are some of the pros and cons?
Yeah, it's a good question. I've actually made videos on this. Well, first, let me preface this by saying I don't think there's like anything like the ultimate form of game. I think they all have their advantages and disadvantages. So I'm definitely not one of those guys that teaches, okay, you only have to do online game or you only have to do cold approach. I think online game, with the possible exception of social circle, but online game is the most efficient. So meaning when you go up to a girl in real life, she might have a boyfriend. You might just not be her type, which is very common. She might, not be interested in talking to anybody. She might be, leaving town in 2 hours. Like, there's a whole host of factors. When you match with a girl on a dating app, generally speaking, all these have been taken care of. If she has a boyfriend, then she's clearly down to cheat. She's clearly staying in town. So, like, a lot of it's just the most efficient form of game, in my opinion. A disadvantage is that sometimes girls don't look like their pictures. An easy way around that, like if you go on a date with a girl, so my solution to that has been twofold. One is I set up dates either at my house or walking distance from my place, so I don't lose more than 5-10 minutes. And if a girl doesn't look like her pics, I'm like politely give her a hug and say, "Hey, I'm sorry, I'm just not feeling it." Right? So I wind up losing like 5-10 minutes, but it definitely does happen. Also, online, while there's this misconception there's no hot girls online. That's not true. But there are certain kinds of girls that you will not find online that you really won't even find from night game either. They're mostly like day game, like girls who are like, and usually those are the girls, on average, there's a lot of variability here, but usually those are the girls that might be the most like girlfriend worthy. So like the hot chick who actually doesn't go clubbing and doesn't really fuck with dating app, but like focuses on work or focuses on like whatever her hobbies. So that would be, but again, I don't want to say that you can't meet a relationship-worthy girl off dating apps. You can. Like I personally, my third girlfriend was from Tinder, so it does happen all the time. But we're talking about averages here. So day game, advantage with day game is very few people do it. So by doing day game, you really stand out.
And it's the exact opposite of dating apps in terms of like you can see if the girl's attractive because it's like real life sunlight.
Yeah, no one's doing it. You can very clearly see the girl. Like with night game, it might be dark. There might be makeup, and then you get her back to your place. It's like, oh, shit. So that won't happen with day game. Disadvantage is it's the most socially unexpected. So like you kind of have to. It depends on the girl, but usually you have to kind of be like some chicks. They find it weird that a guy will come up to them during the day. So if you have good game, you can get around that. But like, I would say for like a beginner, it might be the most intimidating form of game. Because like if a guy is already like a little anxious and awkward and he goes into it and the girl's, not really down to be talked to during the day. Like if you think about it logically, if a girl's walking around during the day, it's mostly like homeless people and like fucking like salespeople are hitting her up. It's not like charming guys that she wants to date. on average, right?
Yeah.
It might be people hollering like, yo, girl, let me see that ass. Cool guy.
But if you do approach in a socially calibrated way and you're obviously showered and like a cool guy, then you can cut through that in like 5 seconds. Yeah,
True.
Harvard says we judge people within the first 4 seconds of meeting someone, right? So just by her like seeing you, like judging how you're coming across, what you're saying, how your voice sounds, people can tell like that. People have already made the judgment on you, right?
Sure, yeah. I'm making the point though, if you're like a beginner or like you're kind of approaching society, like it might be, day game might be the hardest. That's not to say that you shouldn't do it. You should, because you want to get over that anxiety. But like in terms of results, another thing that I think is a disadvantage with day game is I think it's the most inefficient form of game.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. It is the most inefficient. There are sometimes you can get away with it. Like in Brickle, I feel like it is somewhat efficient because you have so many hot girls like going through next to Moxie's, like just walking on that street. But yeah, it's just like you're outside for hours and you don't know if they have a boyfriend or not.
Yeah. If a girl goes to a bar, like she might have a boyfriend, but the odds are lower than if you approach a random girl during the day.
And I think one of the other advantages for day game is if you meet a girl during the day and you strike up like you build a strong connection with her, that like lasts, right? Versus if you build a connection on like a dating app and she kind of just gets buried, you get buried under the messages because she doesn't check them for a while. Or like night game, you know, you get a number, it can be typically pretty flaky. But day game, if you establish that strong connection, like one of my students did today, he brought this girl on an Insta date and like spoke some Russian to her, and she's like knows all these things. She's getting this, it's encoding in her memory because she's not drunk as fuck.
To be honest, I found that for me personally, my night game numbers are a little bit more solid than day game numbers. This could have something to do with the fact that I don't like go to clubs. I don't go for drunk girls. I go to like, and I usually have like a good solid interaction, like where the girl's sober or somewhat sober. I think night game, if you do it right, can be really solid.
I think night game's more efficient than online.
My night game numbers are definitely more solid than my online numbers, for sure. Like, if I get a girl's phone number from night game, I would say that 50% chance she's gonna be like receptive and we're gonna meet up or something like that. Versus online, like those chances are way lower. Social circle game, I don't think it's an option for like a lot of guys because they don't have any girls. They don't even have a social circle in general, and they don't have any girls in their social circle. So I think for most guys, it's not really an option. If it is an option, then great. I mean, you don't want to like burn out your whole social circle though, so you have to kind of do it kind of intelligently.
Yeah, most people when they talk about social circle game, they don't even mean social circle at all. What they mean is like they use Instagram leveraging to like connect with photographers and stuff, that kind of stuff.
Right.
But like guys that do have social circles, that is, in my opinion, that's like the least efficient way. Because like you essentially have to wait until you have an event or till you like do something to meet a new girl through that.
Like to give an example, like right now, we're testing a new app, so I started like a giant group chat. It's like the girl who I'm hooking up with, all her friends, and a few of my buddies, and like just that whole thing played out. Like my girl's like, hey, my friend thinks your buddy is cute. Like so, you kind of get stuff like that will happen.
So that's in many countries, that's the main way they date. Is they like you're seeing a girl and then you say, oh, my buddy Austen is single. Is your friend single? Cool, let's go out. And
I think that's pretty much in every country the main way.
Yeah, but I feel like it isn't the main way in America.
You don't think so? Don't you feel like we're the exception though? Like most guys aren't fucking cold approaching and shit.
Like if you were to say met through school, work.
Yeah, school and work are a huge one. University.
But I feel like also a lot of guys that are in scarcity, they want to meet girls through their social circle because they see like one attractive girl and they haven't made the shift in their mindset yet that they could just go out and meet a girl or meet a new girl on an app or whatever.
Yeah, this is why I never understood like the idea. Like you hear stories about like how someone banged their best friend's girl. I'm like, why? There's so many girls. Like, but to them, like, no, she's the only girl. I had to either choose my buddy or this one girl. Like, I had no other choice.
Yeah, and I think if you learn how to pull, I think that night game is by far the most efficient. Because it's also efficiency in terms of, like, an entire time invested before you bang. I can meet a girl at a bar and take her home, and then I've invested maybe 30 to 90 minutes in the venue and then maybe 30 to 60 minutes when I'm here at my place. And then I bang, and that's
like 2 minutes in the bedroom.
And you add that all together, it's pretty efficient.
Let me ask you this, actually. What because I'm always curious to hear people's perspective on this. Out of your night game hookups, what percentage of them were same night lays, and what percentage were phone numbers that you then met up with as a date?
The vast majority same night.
Really?
Yeah.
Exact opposite here.
But the funny thing is, the past 3 girls I dated were night game numbers.
For me, like, I would say the vast majority of my night game lays is like it was a solid phone number. Maybe we made out and then got her on a date and we hooked up. Like, same night lays.
Why didn't you pull?
A lot of times, like, with a lot of friends, like, it's just not possible. I mean, of course, you can push it, but, like, I typically, like, I'll push a little bit, but then, like, I don't want to, like, really push. I'd rather just get the number. And then quite often I find that, like, let's say you do pull, but you pull which you go really hard to pull, and, like, her friends are hitting her up, like, it's a frantic environment, and maybe you come close to sex and it doesn't happen. Versus if you get her on a date, like, you have favorable logistics, there's plenty of time, there's no friends to worry about.
It also depends on who you're going out with. If you're going out with a wingman and you just find, like, a really common way to pull is you go out with a wingman and then you find 2 girls and then you both come back.
Sure.
And maybe he wings you or you wing him. You do him a solid. But also, the past few times I've been pulling and banging has just been through boot camp. Like, I have to go out. I have to give them a great experience. So I basically just try to pull with the students whenever I can. And it makes for better testimonial footage.
And you have the advantage of the fact that you're not focused on getting laid, which actually makes you more attractive to girls.
Write in the comments below if you want to see Alex and I do this. We want to do a competition, like cold approach versus online game, and just see who can, like, sleep with the most. And I guess, I don't know what we do, a week period or a 3-day period or something.
But now, like, hook up with the girls, because, like, you know, no hookups. So
Yeah,
like, marry the woman.
Yeah, establish a strong connection of the
Who
woman
can have
that you're
more
dating.
bastard children.
If you're dating without the intent to marry, you're wasting your time.
And Jesus will know.
Okay, so you've met girls through day game, correct?
Yeah, many times.
How does that differ from meeting a girl online in terms of the texting?
It doesn't differ. So some guys think that I need to run, like, radically different text game for cold approach numbers. It's actually quite similar. Good text game is good text game. The 2 things that are different is, 1, I typically don't do 3 things, actually. I typically don't do as much with cold approach numbers because I already rely on the fact that I built the bulk of attraction in person. Like, I don't need to with online. It's not so much that I'm trying to build attraction, but I am trying to get the girl to invest in the conversation. I already got her to invest in real life, so I just want to kind of spark that up and then go for the meetup. So typically my day game, night game interactions will be shorter in terms of texting overall. Not always, but usually. The second thing is I typically won't go as explicitly sexual with day game and night game numbers. Like, it's always like, my style is always very much the same. It's always like definitely very flirty with a lot of sexuality sprinkled in, but it's not super obvious.
Innuendos.
The
women
analogy,
don't like when things are so blatant, like, I want to fuck you. There's no mystery to that. But there is mystery and excitement and anticipation with innuendos.
But sometimes with online, that's actually the best strategy. Not always, but, like, going explicitly sexual. Versus I find that with day game and night game numbers, I'd rather just keep it a little bit more vague. With cold approach, yeah, callback humor is a thing, which I rely heavily on. The callback humor, callback jokes. You don't really have that with online. But
they always ask, like, oh, I got this girl's number in day game. What do I message her? And my first question always is, what did you talk about, right? Because the best way to continue the interaction is just to, like you said, callback humor, saying something that you said in the interaction. Like, hey, my little Russian spy, what's up? Right? If you're cracking jokes about that. Or if you establish in the interaction that you want to teach her English and she's going to teach you Spanish, then you're like, hola, profesora, or, you know, things like this. Right. Or, hey, it's your English professor.
Yeah.
We should have our private 101 English class sometime soon. Cool. So you basically do callback humor, and then basically you treat it the same.
Yeah.
Because really you're just balancing the principles of game. You're balancing how much rapport you have with her, moving it forward toward a date. My 3 main principles for text game that I teach are keep the message short, move it forward, and make it fun and flirty.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with all of that. The way I break down text game, like, let's say for online, like this. The first part is the opener, which is exactly what it sounds like. The point of the opener, a lot of people get confused about this, is just to get the conversation started. That's it. You don't have to do a lot in the opener, and people try to do that sometimes. Like, it's a fucking, like, 5 questions and like a PowerPoint presentation and shit. Second, build investment. So I want to get the girl investing in the conversation. It doesn't matter how, emotionally, intellectually, sexually, whatever. Third is this one is optional but highly recommended, is screen. So I want to make sure, and you can screen explicitly by saying, like, what are you looking for on here? It can screen very implicitly by making sexual jokes. 4 is smoothly transition towards the meetup. So you want the close to be very smooth, like
people always try to do it in one. Are you free 7 p.m. on Friday night for sushi at this place at this time?
So, and then the last step really is just to kind of confirm. That's it. Keep the lead warm and confirm.
Tell me your thoughts on this. I always have them, the girl agree to the general premise of what you're meeting up with.
100%. Yeah. I talk about it all the time. So you get her to agree to the general idea of hanging out with you before you get into specifics.
Oh, this is one of my funnels that I do. So I like getting dinner with girls. I know everyone hates that, but
dear God,
I like getting food. I like getting smoothies. And one of my favorites is like smoothie or boba tea, and then like walking in the park. I think that's like one of the coolest dates.
Wine on my romantic balcony.
For example, we'll do for food. So it's like, what random question? What's your favorite type of food in the world? And then she'll be like, oh, I really love sushi. And then I say, oh my God, have you been to? And I insert like a sushi place that's pretty good near me. And she goes, no, I haven't. I'm like, oh, well, I heard there's a cute guy that'll take you there. Oh, really? Where'd you hear that? Little birdie told me. And then basically you just go through the when she's free.
So let me ask you this. So the one disadvantage I can see with that, and I guess it depends on the kind of food, is food makes people sleepy, right? Like, especially if it's carb heavy, like she's going to be more tired. So how do you account for that? You just pump them up with Coke or something?
I don't know. I've never really, I guess I haven't had that big of an issue with it, but I don't go straight from eating to sex. Like, anytime you meet a girl, she's probably like has eaten in like the past couple hours. I mean,
I tell my dates, listen, I'm gonna need you to fast for 24 hours before our date.
So you can do anal.
I need to see. I need you to be in ketosis.
Oh man, I've been seeing a lot of girls that squirt a lot recently. So I'll literally like they come over, like when I bring them into my room, I'm like, wait, and then I just bring them a glass of water and I'm like, drink this. Dude, last night I made her squirt. I didn't want her to squirt all over my bed. So I'm like, what is a thing I could do? I try to like put her on top of me so she'd squirt on me, but that like the angle of the wrist was fucked up. So I literally just bent her over like her ass is in the air. And I go like this. She just squirted all over herself. Anyway, this is a slight departure from our previous conversation.
I find that a lot of girls get embarrassed after they squirt. Have you noticed that?
I don't know. I don't go like, what happened?
You don't try to shame them? Excuse me, what is this? Did you piss on my bed? Did you piss on my bed?
So I have a yoga mat because girls that squirt, I like to take them onto the floor so they don't squirt on my bed. So if I do make them squirt on the yoga mat, I pull them like closer onto the yoga mat, like where they squirted. I'm like, we're fucking in your fucking puddle. I don't know. I found it really
I like that shit. Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah, getting back to the other thing. No, I don't find food is a horrible date, because that's also like, it's just a primal thing, right? It's like you're sharing food together.
Oh, Jesus Christ. This fucking dog is like a train. Just fucking bumps right into me. Yeah. You okay there, creature?
Wait, why don't you go to your default dates? So mine are bubble tea, smoothie, walk in the park, photography dates. I fucking love photography dates because you're telling the girl exactly what to do. You also, it's great for me because I get content on a photography date. I could document it a little better. And another great thing about it is if I want to see that girl again, I send her photos that call back to how she felt with us. This is an interesting thing I'd like to talk to you about. I feel like girls emotionally remember things so much more poorly than guys do.
Poorly?
Like they could be having the time of their life with you, and then oftentimes it'll just like, they'll kind of forget over time, right? I guess that's everyone, but I think women more so. So one of the things I love doing is sending her photos or a video. So like one of the reasons I'll create date videos, right? You've seen some of those on my channel. So I just create date videos with the girl, and then I like send it to her, and then she like remembers. She's like, "Oh my God, this is epic. This is awesome."
Your dates are so much more exciting than my dates. I have one of two dates: one on my romantic balcony, and a drink at a bar near my place. Those are the only two types of dates. Large part. If a girl doesn't drink, sometimes I'll do a walk or something like that.
That's for first dates, though. What about a second date?
Second date's straight over. Unless like there's an activity I want to do. But second date's straight over. We bang. Make a video on my channel.
I think that's the difference between me and a lot of people. I like to, I guess I'm a high dopamine person. I need to like go and explore. The wilderness needs to be explored. So I bring girls to do those kind of things that I want to do anyway.
I like to do things that I was going to do, like go to Whole Foods or something.
The dumbest text game rule of all time, right, is don't message your girl for the first 2 days.
Yeah, but dumb. Or don't double text.
Do you believe that you should try to meet up with a girl in 3 days?
After what? After matching with her? After getting her number from cold approach? After banging?
From cold approach.
I think you should try, but I don't think that if it doesn't happen, I don't think you should push hard for it. Like if the girl's like, I don't know, this week's really busy. I can do next week though. No, like let's make this week work. Like I think that it's a good thing to try to get the meetup. Honestly, for me, that never happens simply because I'm pretty busy and like I put like it's making content. There's so many things I have above. Going on new dates, like rotation girls, like all that is above new dates. So I typically when I get a girl's number, the date doesn't happen for a week or two anyway. But that's not optimal game.
And do they have your Instagram?
Sometimes, like I have a decent Instagram, so I'll do that sometimes. Like if I sort of start forgetting what the girl looks like, 'cause it's been a few weeks, I'll be like, oh, add me on Instagram.
Because that's one of the things that I found to be able to time bridge properly is like Instagram works wonders, right?
It's really good because it keeps it warm, like keeps the girl thinking about you, fantasizing about your stories.
You build up passive attraction, but you also ping yourself into her reality in a non-try-hard way. I don't even know a way to express that statement other than pinging yourself into her reality.
Penetrating yourself into her reality. I think this is the only caveat is you need to have a decent Instagram for that, which rules out 95% of people watching this video. Unfortunately, 95 to 98% will not be able to take advantage of this.
If you just follow the general principles and having like pictures that communicate certain things, travel, wealth, status, cool friends, adventure,
which
fun,
is something 95% of the pickup community does not have at all.
The things with my stories that you don't even necessarily need a story to be super high value is like if you just took a story of your dog, what it does is it shows the girl, oh shit, that's Alex's dog. I wonder, then she thinks about you. Alex, what's going on with him? Maybe you ever see like how many people go to your profile from your story? It's like girls go to your story they go to your profile, they scroll through and they see things going on, and then they kind of like it's more likely that they're going to meet up with you because they're thinking more about you.
Yeah, 100%. I think there's a lot of advantages to having a good Instagram. I actually need to post more shit to my Instagram.
I love that you look at the mic like it's a
pondering,
what is
pondering the meaning of life.
Pondering the meaning of the mic. We've got a couple other questions, then we'll go into some like just funner questions. But I want to get like the game stuff out of the way.
Ooh, I look forward to the funner questions.
So I'm gonna give you like the different types of messages, and I'm gonna give you an example of one of my messages for that, and you give me an example of one of yours.
Sure.
Time bridging. Now this is where like a girl has agreed to go on a date with you, but it's still like a few days out.
Okay.
So usually I would just do that through a story. Like every girl I meet, I try to get number and Instagram. So if I do want to time bridge, I do it through a story. If I'm in another country and I'm just using WhatsApp, then I'll send like a photo. For example, like it is funny, like when you meet a girl and you only have her number, you could just send photos that communicate that you had the best week of your entire life, but they could have been taken over the past 4 years.
You could also do WhatsApp stories. Those are pretty effective.
Okay, nice.
I've had a lot of success with that. Just like when I was in Colombia, I would post like a WhatsApp story of like a nice rooftop, and then like 10 of the girls who I'm talking to, what papi, donde es?
Yeah, or they'll react to it with like hard eyes or something, or like a fire. Usually I do that.
So the question is how to time bridge. How do I do it?
Yeah.
I'll typically say like, let's say like we have a date on Friday. It's Tuesday. I'll say, hey, how's your Tuesday going? And she'll be like, good. How's yours? Right. So I want to bait her into asking me about my day. And then I'll say like something like send her a picture of me and Rhaegar. Good. Just hanging out with this guy. Or good. Just finished a big workout, looking nice and fit for our date. Like a little passive reminder. Or good. Just relaxing in the jacuzzi. Like, oh, you have a jacuzzi? Like, so I'll try to do something like that. Or just send her a meme. I like memes.
Anything that's like relevant to her, right?
Yeah.
Or is it just doesn't matter?
No, just something that like Ryan Gosling works really well. I have this one meme that's like, I like this one, but only to the more sexually open girls. It's like an elephant choking a girl, and it's like the photographer's like, and she just goes, "Yes, daddy," and the photographer's like, "What?" She's like, "What?" It's just fun. It's
For the other ones, like when you're time bridging, you just send a meme, you ask them how their days going, and then you send some kind of high value or funny message back with a photo or.
Yeah, I think that guys
overthink
that you can't say things like, "Hey, how's your day going?" But actually, that's a good text as long as you don't do it too much.
Yeah, and you say it in a slightly more interesting way. How's your Tuesday going?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if that's like that more interesting than, "Hey, how's your day going?" It's just
a little bit different, I guess. Okay, silent leads. So this is like if you message a girl and then she just kind of drops off. So I'll tell you my two default ones. If I ask a question and she doesn't respond, I say, "Take your time. I know it's a deep question." Wink. And then if a girl just drops off out of the blue, I'll say, "Feel free to chime in," with a wink. It doesn't seem butthurt.
I have a variation of that. I'll say, like, if I ask her a question, she's not responding, I'll say, don't think too hard now. Or, don't worry, it's not a trick question. I like those. But, like, let's say it's a situation where it's like she's been flaky. I might say, I genuinely didn't take you for the flaky type. And that text works so well because no girl wants to be known as the flaky type. And then they always start explaining, no, sorry, it wasn't that.
Do you do that as the first flakiness of her not responding? You do it as later on, right?
Yeah. Because if you do it right away, the girl might be like, you have to do it when there's like a pattern.
Yeah, so that I have like a 3 strike rule, and then after that, I call that like more of like a leveling message, right? You're leveling with her. You're telling her, you're breaking through like any kind of seduction or anything. You're just saying, hey, what's going on? Yeah.
Which is completely okay to do. I think guys are afraid to do that sometimes. Like they think they always have to be like in like on a player mode, but you have to sometimes like get real. Yeah,
sometimes I say it was great meeting you, but let me know if I should stop texting you.
And I have a variation of that.
Okay, what is it?
Look, if you're not into this, just let me know and I can stop trying.
Okay, yeah. And then they'll often go, oh no, my boss has been moving me around like a fucking orca whale or something, I don't know, to different places to work, and she's stressed out or whatever. Her dad died or her pet frog committed suicide.
Well, fuck your dad. Fuck your frog. Fuck your boss. Yeah, another one I like is if you're too nervous, I'd understand.
Yeah, that was a famous one from you that ignited a Twitter war or something, right? That's a last resort message. So it's like by the third message, she's like not responding to anything. Like, should I stop messaging you or...
So it depends. If you're too nervous, I might send, like, if I ask her to hang out and she doesn't respond the next day, I might say, like, hey, how's Tuesday night sound? She doesn't respond. I might send that a day or two later. The flaky type, yeah, that one is more of a last resort. Or the look, if you're not into this, those two are more like on the last resort.
And then the last one I have is confirming the date. So 2 that I use is like, I send it an hour earlier. Hey, I'm running flash and we'll be late by 15 minutes. Or I say... This one's actually my default is like, hey, let's say we meet up at 8. I'll text her an hour ahead of time and I'll say, I absolutely cannot do 8. Are you free at 8:03?
I must feel that.
She plays along and she'll be like, oh, I can't, but I can do 8:04.
Typically, my strategy of confirming is day of, I want to get the conversation started. So I'll just say, yo, sexy, or hola, linda, send her a meme. Once she responds, I'll legit just say, hey, still good for tonight. Like, I actually like to ask the question. It might be not the most optimal strategy, but if a girl says yes at that point, that's like a very solid lead. Like, to me, it's just my time is a lot more important than a 5% like suboptimal situation.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. All right, let's get into the funner questions.
Let's get into the funner stuff. Should I take my shirt off?
So, how did you originally get into game? I guess that's something that not everyone knows, right?
I've told the story a few times, but yeah, I guess not everyone. How did I initially get into game? It started with, I didn't lose my virginity until I was 19. And that one was like pure luck, and there was massive alcohol involved for my part, not the girl's part. So, you know, I had no game at all. Like growing up in college, it was pretty frustrating because I would go to like these parties and like my buddies would hook up and I wouldn't.
What do you think the main reason behind that was?
One is that I just had no understanding of like social dynamics. I had no idea what a girl wanted, what turned a girl on, what was, you know, high value behavior, what was low value behavior. I had no idea. 2, I was really nervous to escalate and make a move, so I would just dilly-dally and fucking banter forever and just like never make a move. 3, I think I had also like low self-esteem, and I just think that like if a girl gave me a little bit of shit, like I would kind of like it was obvious in my face.
What do you think that was from?
Possibly like being an immigrant and like moving around a lot when I was younger, because we would like we moved to a school, then 2 years later we moved to another school, so I moved around a lot, so I would always make new friends, and like I was always like the new kid, so it's probably something along the lines with that. Yeah,
I moved around a lot as a kid too.
But also no one taught me, dude. Like I never had like my dad never sat down with me and like told me about girls. I never had I'm an only child, so I didn't have an older brother. So it was like there's no like I don't know, there's no like no one telling me any of this. There's no fucking PWF YouTube channel at the time.
People make this comment with like guys who teach game, like when they eventually have kids, they're like, "Oh, dude, your kid's gonna be such a fucking pickup savage." And it's like if you just teach them properly and like they build genuine self-esteem and you teach them the truth about women earlier on, and then they don't need to become a pickup savage. They'll probably end up just like being kind of normal in that they'll probably bang like 10 to 20 girls and then find a wife basically. They don't need to like become like a sex addict or something.
Yeah, I mean, this is an extreme side tangent, but I think like if I ever did have a kid, like a big thing that I would do with that kid would just like really encourage them to pursue. Like I would never like, I think mistakes some parents make is they just like give their kid everything. I wouldn't give my kid everything. I would like try to make him earn it, but I would set him up in situations where he can win. So just develop that self-confidence. Like, and if he like lost, I would help him reframe it. Right. So like, so my child, like my kid would always be like a winner, which would set up like a really lot of self-esteem and confidence.
Yeah.
I think
you're on the fence about having a kid. Why don't you just say that you want to have kids?
I don't know. Cause I don't know if I ever do want to have a kid. I'm still like 50-50 about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that I would miss out on a huge part of the fulfillment of life not having kids.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. Like I think that there's definitely probably something to be gained by having a kid. Yeah. But there's like on the flip side, it takes up so much of your time.
That's the same argument with dogs. It's like people think that optimal freedom includes optimal happiness, where it doesn't. You necessarily have to decrease some of your personal freedom to have the most optimal life. And you are going to give up free time, and there might be extra stress and blah blah blah. But ultimately, it's rewarding, right? It's like the same thing like you have in a business. Well, you could just be doing solar sales still, right? But you took on extra stress and responsibility because it's rewarding.
Sure, but I mean, I think that definitely having a dog takes time, but it's not even close to the amount of time as a kid does. Like, there's not even like on the same like if having a kid was as easy as having a dog, fucking sign me up. Like I'd be down. Like if all I had to do was walk him like twice a day and like hang out with him when I was high and bored, then sure.
Yeah.
Hey, little guy. Daddy smoked a fat blunt.
Okay. Next question.
What
was some of the worst advice that you've received?
Are we talking about from like pickup coaches or just like in general?
Oh, you could do both. Why not?
Okay, so from pickup, well, I think a really bad piece of advice was that looks don't matter. That's a bad piece of advice because it kept me like, I was like, I don't need to go to the gym. I don't need to get like a nice clothes. Looks don't matter.
Yeah.
Tyler says looks don't matter. They don't matter. So I think that was like a bad piece of advice. Like I didn't get into like, and that's not to say that like, I think that one of the big advantages with game is that like it may force you to do things that you initially don't want to do, but then you grow to love them. Like initially I thought going to the gym was gay, but then I started doing it for like, just because I wanted to look better for, pickup. And then I really fucking started enjoying going to the gym. It's like one of the things I look forward to. Like if chicks no longer enjoyed fit guys, I'd still go to the gym.
Yeah, because you feel good doing it. Yeah. You feel stronger, more capable, etc.
But I wouldn't have done it initially if it wasn't for the game aspect.
Yeah,
that's same with reading. Like I thought that like because Tyler reads, so I should read.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
And now you're like it's beneficial and
like reading is good. I enjoy it. Yeah.
Really quickly, what's your morning routine and evening routine if you have one?
So my morning routine is I generally wake up at the crack of 1 p.m. Yeah. That's all my early days.
Has there ever been a dating coach that woke up before noon?
What time do you wake up usually?
2 to 3 p.m.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was actually exaggerating. I actually wake up closer to 2. I just, I kind of wanted to like exaggerate a little bit. So, but now I feel more comfortable like actually saying my real time. Today I woke up at like 1:45. My goals are to like wake up by 1 p.m. every day. So if I wake up at 1, I'm like check mark. Okay, so I wake up. First thing I usually do is I drink water with lemon and apple cider vinegar because I think that's like a good way to cleanse yourself. And I try to drink a lot of water, just like hydrate. Sometimes I go in my infrared sauna and just like detox right away. Take all my morning supplements, and then I have this thing called the Alpha Stim, which I highly recommend. It's fucking cool, dude. I'll send you the link to this, but it's like this device. You hook it up to your ears for like 20 minutes. It actually like changes your brain waves. And it makes you like it boosts your happiness, boosts your motivation, and you actually when I put this thing on, I feel like I don't know, more like crisp. It's like not as strong as taking an Adderall, but like kind of like in that direction, but obviously not as potent. And so apparently, if you do it often, it actually like permanently starts to change your brain chemistry. So I've been doing that. Yeah, I do that right away. Then I what do I do after that? Then I typically just tackle whatever I have going on that day. My nightly ritual is I have a tracker, of things I'm tracking that I'm trying to get done every day. And then I check off, like, did I do this? Did I not do this? And I actually recently made a new rule, which I think is really cool. Only if I accomplished everything on my to-do list do I let myself smoke weed before going to sleep. And that motivates me. Like if I'm feeling lazy, like fuck, I want to smoke later tonight. Like gotta get this shit done.
Nice.
I usually hit the gym twice. I hit the gym at like 3-4 p.m. and I do like a very light thing, like usually around 1 a.m.
Okay, cool. So let's do this. What's a book you've read or listened to more than any other?
Total Recall by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Highly recommend it.
Is that like his autobiography?
Yeah.
Dude, he's such a winner.
He's such a winner.
Yeah.
Except for the banging the ugly maid and losing his wife.
Yeah.
That was a little bit of a loss.
It is discouraging when you see like these men who you think so highly of and then they just like their wives are like, ugh.
I know. And then like the
like,
they
dude,
cheat on their wives with is even worse.
Yeah. It's like I'm not gonna learn game to bang a 5 and marry her, you know.
But all these guys, well actually you have a lot of the pickup coaches who are married who also like whose wives are like would be a chick who I'd be embarrassed to like even have a one night stand with.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense to me. I don't know. I don't get it. Like, if I ever get married, my wife's gonna be hot as fuck. My wife has to be so hot that I never feel any jealousy. Like when we go to a party, I want to feel like I have the hottest like girl in the room. There's no other girl that tempts me because I already have like the best one.
Yeah.
Like I can't go to a party with my wife and then there's like 3 other chicks. I'm like, oh fuck, if only I could bang her.
You know what I've noticed is that the difference of guys' taste in girls varies so widely. It is bizarre. I've had students.
That's true. Yeah.
I've had students who are literally like chubby chasers. Like I'll talk like your personal 10, which is what, like a Russian girl or I don't know.
I like
Latina,
like Leela Starr.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Leela Starr walks in the room. This guy has zero anxiety at all. Yo, what's up? Yeah, how's it going? A fat chick walks in the room.
Oh shit.
Oh god. And I saw he recently he dumped his ex-girlfriend for a girl who's now fatter than his ex.
Yikes.
And then I did this program in Berlin, and I had the student who was talking to we did a 2-set, and I'm like winging him with a girl who looks like she just escaped from Auschwitz. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll wing him with that girl. He can get the hot girl. And then afterward, he goes, bro, what the fuck happened back there? And I was like, what do you mean? You got her number, right? He's like, yeah, but I didn't want that girl. I was like, you wanted the girl that looked like she just escaped from Auschwitz? He's like, yeah. And dude,
I want that Auschwitz pussy.
He said, yeah, that's the type of booty that I like. And in my mind, I'm thinking she didn't have an ass. It was literally just like bone, skin.
But I wonder how much of that is, especially with the fat girls, like the low self-esteem. Like the guy thinks, like on a subconscious level, he can't do any better. He doesn't think he's worthy of like the hot girl.
I think it's just that his brain, for whatever reason, who he grew an affection toward, is it's wired really early on.
Yeah, because I can tell you that with like me when I was 19, 20, when I was in college, I was actually going for the more chubby girls. But it wasn't like because I find that shit attractive. Like if you look at the girls I go for now, they're all in like great shape. It was just like I thought that was the best I could do because I had low self-esteem.
Yeah. I think that's a part I prefer big tits and big ass, and like a girl being like maybe 5-10 pounds overweight.
Yeah, I think you and I have the same exact type of girl. Like we both like the big booty Latinas.
Yeah, like a little bit a bigger booty than is customary. But I like that hip to waist ratio. She needs to have a good hip to waist ratio of 0.7.
Dude, it's ridiculous. Like now when I go on my Instagram, like Instagram has learned what I like so well that like literally it's all just like chicks with asses bigger than the other. And I think Instagram is like realizing that like I need more novelty. So like now the asses I see are like like they're not even like physically possible. Like the ass, like they're just like such huge asses that to like the average person, like, oh, it's like grotesquerie. But I'm like, oh yeah. Like if I show this to my roommate, he's like, dude, like that's the what do you even do with an ass that big?
I like blonde hair, blue-eyed white girls, and then Latinas, but like lighter skin Latinas.
I like the Latinas who have blue eyes or green eyes. Those are rare, but that shit is dope.
That's like Colombian. It's like very possible.
Or Cuban.
Yeah, Colombia has like one of the highest percentages of white Spanish girls in Latin America. But yeah, Argentina obviously has the most white people.
Yeah,
but they're kind of like Italian.
Yeah, but I like Italian girls too. Especially that combination of like Italian. Like I remember a really hot chick was half Italian, half Argentinian, and that was like a really good combo on her. Cool.
What other questions? What should we talk about? Why don't you propose a topic?
What we should talk about? This is an interesting topic. Happiness. Like what? Because I think you and I have discussed this a little bit. What we kind of hinted at this earlier. Like what do you think is like the key to happiness in your opinion?
So I kind of agree with. There's a book called The
Happiness Hypothesis,
where he talks about happiness is a river fed by multiple streams, which I
Yeah.
kind of agree with. So if you just focus on, if you try to optimize your life for one area, like being a billionaire, like you have enough money, like more than you would ever need to be happy, right? But let's say your health is shit and you can't get out of bed. Like, what does it matter that you have a Boeing 747 custom for yourself that you can fly anywhere in the world if you're too fat to get out of bed? So I think like having solid health, like health is wealth is really a great saying. Having solid health, having good fitness, having a bunch of money, having girls, having friends, living in a place that you like, doing the kind of stuff that you feel like gives your life meaning. But I think that now it's almost like our jobs are so removed from what we should even be doing that it's like the only jobs people are gonna have is like selling NFTs and feet pics. That's like the future, right? But yeah, I also think it's like today the things that we're doing are so removed from what we should be doing, right? And just think of sleep. Like you and I wake up naturally at 2 p.m. every day. How does that make any sense? And like the easiest way, to reset your sleep is to go on a camping trip. You wake up at when the sun comes up because you have tons of light, tons of heat, and you just feel like the day is starting and you can't go back to sleep. Whereas I literally sleep in my closet, so I have like complete darkness, complete silence. Cold.
I think we're like a creature of habits, and like my reality now is basically what I've been doing. So if you put me in like the woods or whatever on a camping trip, I'll probably have like low grade anxiety because I'm just so not used to waking up early and fucking doing shit.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised because there's so many. You're taking so many cues from your environment that you literally. The best sex I've had in the past like 2 months is when I went to Chicago to visit one of the girls that I was seeing down here.
Simp.
Yeah, simp. We went on this epic hiking trip, and then we just felt so like reset and felt so good because your brain waves in nature are meant. Or they replicate the brainwaves probably like when you're doing your buzzing thing with your ears or your
when I'm doing my creepy ear ritual.
Yeah, or when you're meditating deeply, right? So and it's interesting too. There's one of the most fascinating books I could recommend to anyone is a book called Civilized to Death. It's like you think you have to be so civilized and you think you have to like need all these creature comforts. In reality, all you need is like human beings for human contact, food, and then like being somewhat close to nature, which is one of the reasons I live next to 2 parks, so I can just like go there and like reset. And they found that one of the keys for happiness is that you have green space. So you're like in green space, you have trees, and this is good. But honestly, if I live like close to a forest or something, I would just go there all the time.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot with what you just said.
But yeah, I want to. So that's one of the things that I want to do is like I realize I'm making more money now than I've ever made in my entire life.
Same.
But I don't. There's nothing that I think that I can buy that will increase my happiness besides getting a cabin in the woods.
So
I want to I want to get a plot of land next to somewhere beautiful, somewhere that looks like Mammoth Lakes, California, where it's like beautiful mountains and lakes and beautiful trees. Get a place like that, a land, I don't know, a square mile or something. Have my own like private forest basically. And then build a giant cabin on there. And whenever people want to come through, they can come through, either camp there or live there, have like ATVs, fun shit, and just like have both. So I can live in a city and then I can live in the middle of nowhere. Whenever I want to go de-stress and get in the middle of nowhere, I can go there. Whenever I want to come back, I can live in a city and go see Tim Dillon, the comedian, live.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about it because I have excess money for the first time in my life. Like I don't have any debt or anything. But what I'm going to invest my money in is like fucking my health. I want to start doing stem cells like once every 2 months. Like I want to see, like, imagine I do stem cells like once a month for a year. Like I'm gonna fucking be like growing hair everywhere and like just be like I don't know. I want to see like how superhuman I can make myself in terms of health.
You know what is that Aristotle quote? He's like, it's a shame if men grow old without seeing the beauty their body is capable of attaining, something like this.
Yeah.
I basically by the time I'm like 35, I want to look like a god.
I want to get like a fucking hyperbaric chamber, hyperbaric oxygen chamber. Fucking start doing that. Like, there's so many cool health things that I want to do.
Sauna, steam room.
Well, that I already have. Like that's been within my reach for a while.
You got an infrared sauna? What is that? Is it like you go fully inside or it just wraps around your neck?
Just around here.
Does it feel anywhere as good as a regular sauna?
It's not as hot, but you sweat a lot because it goes more into your things. I actually had to throw mine out a few days ago because it's starting to grow mold. So I have to get another one.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? It's like we get more money when we're not like, oh, I need to buy a fucking Lamborghini.
I never really cared about that stuff. Like that was never like a motivator for me at all. I was always more motivated by popularity and attention than money.
Huh. But now that you have the attention, you're like, it's kind of overrated.
But I want more. Like
you want more?
Yeah.
Is that so you can convert that into banging more porn stars?
I mean, partially, but like I actually really enjoy like the validation of like walking down the street and like people come up to me and like, hey man, I love your YouTube channel. I'm like, thank you.
That's good. I feel like that's good it's a good amount of celebrity status for us because we get recognized occasionally, but not like so much that it like interrupts our daily life. You know, where we like literally we go shopping in Whole Foods and we'd be swarmed by like, oh my god, do you know who the fuck who's here? And they just like call everyone to come in. That would be very annoying.
Yeah, but you'd have to become like an A-list celebrity for that.
Yeah, which is almost impossible these days. Which is it's so funny too because you know like people back in the day everyone would know them, like Tom Cruise, like everyone would know him. Now there's like these YouTube celebrities or TikTokers, and I'm like, who is that? And they're like, oh, she has 75 million followers. And I'm like, I've never heard of this person ever.
She stands on her toes.
Yeah. She dances with music in the background.
Does she dance well? Not really.
Oh, I wanted to talk about this before because you're optimizing your health. You talked about like how one of the worst pieces of advice you got was looks don't matter.
Yeah.
You're basically doing the same things in your game, slightly optimizing over time, right? But it's like you're almost playing a video game, but you're upgrading your character, right? You're like, oh shit, teeth upgrade. 0.5% mana. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you think of it in that way. So you're adding to your ability to, every time I go out to the bar, it's like I could just be a slightly better version of who I am. And it's going to be slightly easier to meet the girl, to attract her, to lead it forward.
Right. Assuming you're following a good strategy, which I'm sure you are, but
yeah, I think for pulling, my place is pretty much optimized. Like, what else could I do? I'm close to Wynwood, I'm close to Brickell, I'm close to South Beach. Anywhere that I would go out, I'm like 5-10 minute drive. What else do I got?
It's like it's always
guitar, music, karaoke, dog. Honestly, dude, you asked me this on their last podcast, and I said like having a dog just walking around with her doesn't improve my game so much meeting the girl, but it drastically improves meeting up with the girl or pulling the girl for me.
I find that it's almost the opposite for me. That's interesting because for me, I find that it's a lot easier to start the conversation, but I wouldn't say I necessarily close more of those leads. Like, I feel like once the conversation starts with my dog, I still have to like run game. If my game is off that day, like, so I find that like, yeah, I get more leads coming in, but I wouldn't say they close more because of my dog.
I would say they drastically close more because of my dog. Dude, we literally just show pictures of Athena and go, I have to walk her, you know? And then basically just bring the girls back to see Athena. And then like as soon as they enter my apartment, you know, a lot of times when you enter an apartment.
Oh, you're talking about when you're on a date.
On a date or pulling from night game,
okay.
I show them the picture of Athena, and if they don't believe me, literally I have Nest Cam, so I just go, oh no, like literally like on Nest right now, she's right there. Look,
they can't not believe me because Rhaegar is with me on those dates.
Yes,
at the bar. So
yes,
they.
Because dude, every fucking girl comes up. Can I pay your dog? Can I pay your dog? Can I pay your dog?
Yeah, so, like, I need to like make Rhaegar a little bit more ugly. Maybe like shave his head or something.
If dogs wore pants, how would they wear them? That's what I wanted to say. Is like you basically upgrade your character over time, and it makes it easier to follow through with game.
Yeah.
One thing that you do, and one thing that I do for both of our coaching areas, is that we both iterate on what the students are doing. Because you could give people the exact template of what to text, and they will all fuck it up pretty much. They'll go, oh, what about this? Or well, she said this. So let me, like, literally, I gave my student a word for word message to send to a girl, and he like tripled the length in it and tried to be like super witty.
Yeah, I've had that happen.
So it's just like literally over time you iterate, like your group, you say like, don't send that or send this instead. Right, and you can iterate over time, which I think is super solid.
Break down their mistakes, but you notice how like this is something that kind of vexes me. Like some guys, I can get them good really fast. Like let's say two guys start at a beginner point, and maybe they have the same looks. One of those guys, I can get them good really fast. The other guy will be in my mastermind for years, which is great for me from a business perspective. But like, it's kind of like almost like I'm like, what the fuck? This guy's been in this mastermind for 3 years. Yeah. His text game still sucks balls. Like what? Like because that I feel like I'm doing something wrong at that point, even though I'm giving them all the information, they're just not applying it.
Yep.
I'm like, you've been in here for 3 years, you still don't know what to say after the opener. Like, come on, dude. Like sometimes I have to like politely call these guys out.
Some people can get results on their own, which is probably or they can get epic results on their own. It's just like less than 1% of people. Some people need a little bit of a push, and they get excellent results. They implement exactly what they learn. Some people need a huge push, and some people, no matter how much you slap them in the fucking face, they choose to not adapt.
Why do you think that is? Like, I've wondered, why do like some people not like? I feel like, you know, I was a little bit of a hard learner, but I eventually got good, right? Like, it wasn't super fast, but like I feel like some guys, like, they've made no progress in 5 years at all, despite taking a lot of action.
Yeah, I think part of it is ego. Like the students I've had that have been the slowest learners, they choose to spite me. So like when I say, like literally,
I'm gonna show Austen what's what. Stay home and jerk off tonight. I'll teach him a lesson.
Like literally, there's like one student who I gave like my default day game opener, which is ACII, attention, context, intent, introduction. It's just like how you should approach girls in the daytime. And he just tried to do it like his own way. And then I'm like, he approached this one girl and it didn't work out. And then I approached the exact same girl with my proper open and it worked. And then eventually, like, I broke his ego down to the point where he's like, okay, like, I'll listen now. But some students, it's just like,
well, then sometimes
it's protection. They're in protection mode. Because if, like, we had one student who was like an orphan, and he just had like I literally listened to his story and I like had to hug him afterward because it was just so fucked up. But yeah, it was really shitty. But his like ego was so strong that I literally couldn't get through to him. And every time I would give him feedback, he would fight against it. Like, what was one thing? I'd be like, and I just gave like another random tip. I was like, by the way, your breath's really bad. You need to go to a dentist because it smells like a couple of your teeth are rotting.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And he goes, really? Because everyone says I have great teeth. And I'm like,
no one does understand.
Okay, man. And then we're like, bro, yeah, you should get some different shoes. Really? Like, I get compliments on these shoes every single day of my life. Like,
fuck your mom with these shoes.
We had him do warm-ups. We had him do the basic warm-ups, and he's like, yeah, my social boldness is like through the roof. Like, I could just approach anyone, anytime, anywhere. We're like, okay, can you go compliment this one? It's like, yeah, I don't have a problem with that stuff at all. It's like, you mean the thing that you literally are unable to do.
Dude, I used to have this roommate. He was like in my mastermind. He was like a guy who was kind of similar to what you guys do. Like, he was a student, but he was also living with me. And dude, like, this was just like, this boggled my mind. Like, I figured out within like 2 days of him moving in exactly what his issue was and gave him like a step-by-step plan on how to fix it. And he just like, he would agree with me. He'd be like, yeah, man, that makes sense. I'm like, I feel like you're just saying this just to agree with me. He's like, no, I agree. And then same thing, day in and day out. Like, he made no progress during the time he lived with me. And I'm like, and he's like, man, I feel like I'm missing something. Like, dude, you have all the information, you're just not applying it. And then he fucking goes back to his hometown, and then he fucking starts applying it and starts getting laid for like the first time in his life.
I think another issue too is identity. Because you literally have to, I remember when I was learning the game, I literally had an identity crisis at a certain point. Because I was like, this is so far removed from what I thought was possible that it literally made me uncomfortable, and I had to like have a new identity almost come to the forefront in a way. Where it's just like, it was just like, every step of the way, I didn't think I could get a girl, and then I got a girl. And then I like made out with a girl, and then I got hotter girls, and every step of the way, my journey in game was just like, oh my god, I was so excited every step of the way. So my identity had to change. But some people, it's like a little identity is wrapped around, oh no, I don't do that. That's not who I am. And when they start doing these things and it kind of sneaks up and kind of becomes who they are, they may protect and try to defend that identity too. So I think those are the biggest things, ego and identity.
It could be a mindfuck.
Because literally, if you ask guys, like, would you like to fuck 10 girls this year? Like, you could get a guy to the point where he's fucking 10 girls a year.
Yeah.
In like a year time.
I could teach him all the principles in 1 or 2 days. But he needs to fuck 10 girls in a month.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if he's going to apply them or not.
And then how much action he's taking, etc., right?
Yeah.
But the point is, if you ask guys something like that, like, would you like to bang a new girl every 2 weeks for a year? They'd be like, yes. And then if you tell them exactly how to do it, then they're like, ugh, I don't know if I signed up for all of this. Because it's like, it's that idea that you can have everything you want in life, but not anything. Or wait, you can have anything you want in life, but not everything, right? If you want something and you actually go after it, it necessitates that you're kind of cut off other parts of your life. Because you have to sacrifice time, you have to sacrifice your ego, you have to sacrifice your comfort zone.
It's true.
And a lot of people are not even, they don't want to.
I think the biggest thing is sometimes have to sacrifice being lazy, a lazy slob. I think some people are so used to being lazy. Like, dude, my right, like, dude, I met him like years ago. Every single time, like when I first met him, he's like, bro, I want to start going to the gym. I want to put on muscle, and I want to be like one of those big Indian beefcakes, dude. And it's not that he doesn't have the correct workout. Like, you know, he paid for a training plan. He has all the information, the gym membership, everything. But in the 3 months, 3 years I've known him, he's made zero consistent progress, like zero. And because it's always like he starts going and then he just stops and like it's just like excuse central. And then he'll be like, one night we'll be out and be like drinking a little bit. He's like, bro, like that's it. I'm committing to the gym. Like you have to hold me to it. You have to hold me to it. I'll be like, all right, like I'll hold you to it. Next day I'll be like, yo, bro, so go to gym. He's like, oh, you know, I have a date coming over. It's getting kind of late. Like it's just excuse central.
There's a good Tony Robbins quote.
When the pain of making the change is less than the pain of like being stuck where you currently are, that's when you're gonna.
Yeah. Yeah, I told him, I'm like, dude, like I guarantee you that if you didn't have seeking arrangement and you didn't have online dating apps, and the only way you could get laid was from cold approach, you would fucking go to the gym.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah.
Speaking of that, that'd be like the online game, another online game cool thing. But it used to be so much better, the seeking arrangement stuff. It used to be so much better, but
I haven't used it in like 3-4 years, so.
A huge downside of it is girls on it are more likely to have higher psychopathy. They're like more likely to be psychopaths.
Yeah, but they're really
Shittier people. I find they're like less, like I wouldn't date any girl from seeking arrangement.
Yeah.
Like
What's
more
his?
shitheads.
Amon cracked this joke the other night. He's like, in order to date Austen, you have to fill out like 3 forms. Do you want to wrap this up?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button if you know what's good for you. Otherwise,
And
I'll
that
track
bell
you
for
down.
notifications.
Yeah, turn on post notifications. Otherwise, I'll track you down. I'll find you, and I don't know what I can
And
even
I'll
say.
suck
on
your
YouTube.
dick.
Someone would report this if I said a threat. He was threatening me. Go check out Alex's channel, Playing with Fire. That'll be linked in the top comment and description below.
Only if you're into getting laid.
If you're into getting laid, follow him. If you just want to look at my beautiful face, then don't, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Thank you for having me.